Hello, everybody. Hope everything's well, and as always, let's jump right into this. Now, this is a book. I suggest everybody get it. The Destruction of Black Civilization, from 4,500 BC to 2000 AD by Chancellor Williams. Now, this particular book came out, I think, in 1971, 1974. It's a good book, though. And it basically explains that how blacks have been getting destroyed for over a millennia. Okay? So that means our history's been stolen, our identity, anything you can think of. Okay? And it's going on to this day. And for those who think that racism doesn't exist, by the end of this video, I think I should have you convinced as to why things are not fair on the scale of people making it. And when I'm talking about people making it, I'm talking about black people, the minority, quote unquote. Let's continue with this. Now, this is King Leopold III, a mass murderer, colonized the Congo and killed more than 10 million Africans from 1885 to 1908. Now, he went in there to get resources, but I also believe that he was in there to organ harvest, because he was also known to start chopping off the hands of Africans, because if they didn't get enough wild rubber for him, or other resources that he desired. Okay? Now, killing of people in the Congo is still going on, and I will show you that as well. But I don't want to get off topic. I want to get into a few more things. Now, this is Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street was located in Oklahoma in 1921. For those of you who don't know what it is, it was a black economical power that was becoming great in the 1920s. But it was destroyed because, whites don't want black people rising. Now, you will always hear a white person with their generic insults that blacks are monkeys and they don't want to do anything and they're lazy. But as you can see, when black people try to rise out of their current dismal situation, we have people either outright destroying it, or they will have infiltrators and create programs such as COINTELPRO to destabilize these particular black institutions. Okay. Now, not only did they have their own economical power, but they had their own schools, and they were basically doing everything for themselves in the 1920s. Now, if you go to school, they would teach you that in the 1920s we were nothing. Okay? It's only really until college you really only start to learn about this stuff. You won't learn this in the public schools, which are funded by the people who are keeping blacks down. All right? Now let's continue. These are the founders of the NAACP. For those who don't know what the NAACP is, that is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Now, as you can see, most of these people are white. That is not by accident. Because if we want the advancement of colored people, we want them to advance in the way we want them to advance it. And that's going to be very slowly and in a very minute way. Okay? As you can see, if you actually just go look outside and see how black people are today. Did I miss anything on here? No, I did not. I just had to point this out here and just show you how, even when it comes to our own upliftment, somehow the white man has to be there. You see what I'm saying? And most of these people, I'm sure W.E. Du Bois and Ida Wells were boule. Okay? And if you don't know what the boule is, I suggest you guys look up Steve Coakley, who basically breaks this down to a science. Okay? Remember, I always give my sources. Because I want people, like I said, I can't stress this enough. I want you to do your own research. I want you to do it. Okay? Now, this is J. Edgar Hoover, and on the right, this is Harriet Truman. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to talk about him in this video right now. I really wanted to focus more on him. Now, they're wearing these hats right here. For those who don't know what this is a Shriner hat. The Fez, Shriner Fez. Okay? And this is a form of Freemasonry. Now, J. Edgar Hoover was the director of the FBI, head director, deputy director of the FBI from 1923 to 1972. Now, if you heard the dates I gave, he was the head director around the time of the Civil Rights Movement. Now, as you can see, now are you guys putting two and two together? Now you can see why I was destabilized. Okay. And since he was a Freemason, he knew about melanin. Okay. Remember when I talked about this in Dark Energy is Melanin Part 2, that they've been studying melanin since the 70s. But the fact that they already knew about melanin during the time of the civil rights movements. Because, you know what I'm saying, they were studying it. And they, in his own words, he even said that, I'm not saying this word for word, his fear of a black messiah. You guys can go look that up for yourselves. Okay, fear of a black messiah? So, okay, because these people, like I said, I can't stress this enough, they are occultists and they know about this stuff. They're studying this stuff. They've been excavating these ancient sites for I don't know how long. Okay? That's not a new phenomenon for the white man. Okay? And they're finding new stuff all the time. And they know it links back to descendants of the black people who inhabit these lands today. And that's why they are treating them the way they are now. They got to keep you in a state of constant fear. Okay? Which I already explained in previous videos of mine. Now this guy right here is Darth Hart Perry, ex-informant for the FBI. Actually, I want to go back on this. He was also in office when he became president. So he was head of the FBI when he was president. Okay, so you can see how all this stuff plays out for the black community and why they are the way they are. Now, this is Darth Hart Perry. I already mentioned his name, ex-informant for the FBI. This guy basically was paid by the FBI. That's what an ex-informant is. That's what a foreman is. To get information on the Black Panther group so they can shut that down. But why you think it even fell apart? This is how, war works. For those who know. Okay? They had an informant and they had him basically get information, And they do this all the time. It's called COINTELPRO. Okay, that's why I don't recommend joining any groups like Black Lives Matter. Alright? As you can see, Black Lives Matter doesn't care about black lives like that. They only start to say something when a white cop shoots somebody. But when two black people are fighting, they don't try to bring peace. And they definitely don't try to uplift black people. They only want to keep it seems they only want to keep black people in a state of emotionalism. You know what I'm saying? Just stay emotional. Oh, he did that. Oh, the white cop killed him. So let's go out and cause a riot in our own neighborhoods. Which, that makes sense. And feel like we're doing something. You know what I'm saying? So, well, again, I digress. And for people who know what I'm talking about and watch the news, they know that these Black Lives Matter groups are COINTELPRO. They're not even really for the betterment of black advancement or black upliftment. Now, racism is about politics, power, and economics. I said this in a comment to somebody, I think a year ago or something, but I really want to paint the pictures in people's heads, okay? And I really want to show you what racism is. Racism is a form of group bias that becomes institutionalized in laws, schools, churches, and social customs. Racism gives privilege to one group and denies them to others. Now, if you look at society today, what's it, and what I just read, what is going on? We cannot deny that, and it's even worse now than it was in the 60s. Okay, blacks were better off when they did not conform to the European way of life and trying to, get a job and all that. First the black family was together. And because we knew how to survive off of the land. You understand what I'm saying? So there was no real need to conform. But again, when you have infiltration and, black leaders being bought off and trained so that they can have so they can control the minds of black people, then you're going to have this. And most people will tell you that racism doesn't exist anymore because you got, black millionaires, people like Lil Wayne, Oprah, and all that, who have money. But the thing is, how come they haven't used that money to basically change the black community overnight? Okay? Look what happened when the Brits got bombed by the Nazis. They got built up like that. Okay? Or what about Hiroshima? They got built up like that. Okay? What about Jerusalem? Okay? All these people are getting money and they have no resources? I don't understand that. But Africa, which I'm gonna show you right now in a little bit, Africa, the Congo alone produces over $1 billion of gold. But yet, it's one of the poorest countries. Africa is one of the poorest countries in the world? Wait, hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a freaking minute. You see what I'm saying? It makes no sense, man. So the only way that could happen is if there's people behind the scenes trying to keep people from rising up. Now, let me show you something else here. Private prisons suing states for millions if they don't stay full. Low crime rates bad for business. White-owned private prisons. They demand states keep them full. Now, for those of you who don't know, most prisons are privately owned. That's not by accident. And most of these prisons are inhabited by black people. That's not by accident. And the reason why that has to happen, because they first of all, they want free labor. Okay, you basically have free labor in these prisons. Okay, slavery, and on top of that, they just want to dehumanize you, and this is the best way to do it. Okay. Now I already showed you a multiple set of things on how blacks. Okay, let me put it like this here. Every time blacks have nothing at this moment in time, as far as when it comes to capitalism. And since that, most of them are told that they're nothing, in school, if you're a black man, black woman, you've probably been told you ain't nothing at one point in time by a teacher. Okay? And some of that take that to heart. So they go outside and they do stupid stuff, really just wanting attention, not even, you know what I'm saying? That's why they do disorganized crime. Okay? If blacks were really serious about crime, they would be like the mob and get together and create families and not even be doing this whole, I'm on the block and throwing up gang signs. You know what I'm saying? Paying, having their kids go to school to become lawyers and state troopers, you know what I'm saying? So that if they do something, they can have them come on, you know what I'm saying? That's organized crime. Black people have disorganized crime. They just go out there most of the time, shoot people, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Because, first of all, we've been indoctrinated. Look what we watch. Look how we portrayed on TV. Most of our role models are either some rapper or, you know what I'm saying, some R&B singer or some dancer. We really don't have no scientists like that, you know what I'm saying, or engineers. And if you want to talk about political speakers, most of them done sold out. So there isn't really no real black role models for the young black children out here. So they're going to go out and do this. And the system knows that. So that's perfect for them because when they grow up, they know they're going to be going into these private owned prisons. You understand what I'm saying? So it makes it easier for them. And that destabilizes the communities. You understand? And let me show you this guy is a Dogon, Master Naba. All right, he's going to talk about how they use other African groups to take over other parts of Africa that haven't been colonized yet. All right, now he's going to explain this right now.
It's a land that has never, the colonizer have never visited. So later on, when they find out that they've mixed some areas, then they allowed the colonized, they advised the colonized, like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, to get together and administer that territories for them.
Okay, so this is how it goes down. This is how a white boy even gets, or he's able to colonize these areas. He has to get help from the people who already inhabited those lands. Okay. Now, I already showed you that most of these lands in Africa were already destabilized, and every time they try to build up, somebody from a different country comes and messes it all up, and then we got to start all over again. You understand what I'm saying? That's why there is no government really down there. Well, not a government ran by blacks. I can tell you that right now. And I'm gonna show you again as to how and why, because they're always implementing these little operations to keep the ball rolling, to keep blacks down. Okay. And now most people think or are thinking, why are they killing blacks? Again, and I said in the beginning of this video, they're doing that because, or maybe I didn't, I'm not really sure, okay, but they are harvesting organs as well. That's why they're killing blacks off. So they're getting two for the price of one. Blacks are a resource too. For those of you who don't think, that's why they're killing them off. Okay, which I'm about to show you right now. They're killing millions off. Okay? Because I keep saying they're studying the melanin. In order to study something, they got to get it. And who has the melanin? Okay? Now I'm going to play this right here. AFRICOM, Real Crisis in Congo. I'm going to put the link in the description. I'm also going to play the last video in the link. I mean in the description. I'm going to put that in the description. Okay? So for people to, again, do their own research and look at it themselves from their own perspective and to share it with people you know, so we can put a stop to this.
Report is calling this government a genocidal government.
Oh, okay, wait a minute.
The Congo, if she has sufficient evidence that this country is doing so. We have so many evidence from Rwanda and Uganda, and we even have a leaked UN report that all the Secretary of State have to do is read it and say, okay, we are not going to support you. But since 2000, the United States have given Rwanda $1 billion. The leaked UN report is calling this government a genocidal government. Why is the United States supporting a genocidal government?
Okay, so there we go. The government, the U.S. government, is supporting a genocidal government. Now, again, I already showed you in the last video, it was because they're colonized. These brothers and sisters who are killing the other brothers and sisters have the colonized or the coloner's mind. And what is the coloner's mind? You can just look at America and look at what he did to the Indians. That is his mind. You understand? He doesn't even see himself as the human race, a part of this race. Okay? Now, I want to show you one other part here. This is Fred Hampton. And he's talking about what the Black Panther Party was actually doing. Alright? And then we're going to look at how he was killed and how it was covered up on how, they made it seem like he fired the first shot. But it was actually, all the bullets were coming from the police. I'm also going to put this video in the description as well. But listen to this.
Learn by example. I don't think anybody has an argument with that. I think that when Huey P. Newton said that people learn basically by observation and participation, I think that everybody caught on to that. So what we're saying very simply is that if they learn by observation and participation, then we need to do more acting than we need to do writing. And I think the Black Panther Party is doing that. That we didn't talk about a Breakfast for Children program, we've got one. We're not going to tell you how many kids we intend to feed in Chicago. We're feeding 3,000 to 4,000 every week already, and I don't know how many all around the country. We're not talking about beginning to think about treating people free when they need medical services. We're opening a free health clinic in the city of Chicago in less than 3 weeks. These are the type of examples that people can relate to.
The immediate, violent, criminal reaction of the occupants in shooting at announced police officers emphasizes the extreme viciousness of the Black Panther Party. So does their refusal to cease firing at the police officers when urged to do so several times.
Ed Hanrahan, who was the political heir apparent of Mayor Daley, wanted to take credit for having killed this Black Panther leader. So he went on television, and he went on television explaining how Fred Hampton had come out of his bedroom firing a pistol, and how all the Panthers inside had repeatedly broken ceasefires and repeatedly fired at the police. The problem is when you fire a bullet, two things happen. You have a shell that comes from your gun, and you have a bullet that comes out the other end. When the evidence was all gathered, it turned out that all the shells that were found in the apartment came from police weapons, with the possible exception of one. All the bullet holes, the directions of those bullet holes, were all coming inside from outside. That is, it showed that they were fired by the police. So that all of the evidence that Hanrahan said, all the evidence that was gathered proved that it was the police who fired, not the Panthers. Hanrahan went even further and actually pointed to places on the back door, which he said were evidence in pictures that the Panthers fired. The press themselves, when they looked closely at these pictures and returned to the scene, discovered that these were in fact nail heads and weren't bullet holes at all.
Okay, so as you can see, the media's been lying since 1960 something, since since it was created. Okay? So, if they have gone to that far of a point to make blacks look this bad, and this is in, I want to say, the 1960s, okay? 1962, 63. Then what makes you think that they ain't doing this stuff now? They haven't changed since that time. So what makes you think they changed now? Okay? We're talking over millennia of oppression. Okay? Now, I'm going to leave you guys with one last thing here. Now, this is a guy who, a white male, for those who think that white privilege doesn't exist, he took advantage of not one but two girls in the state of Massachusetts, okay, and got no jail time and only got 2 years of probation. 2 years. I'm going to let you guys watch this minute clip. Look at that. Now, we all made mistakes. This is what his lawyer said, the classic generic thing to say when you're saving a white life. Very good. And also look at this. If he complies probation, the conviction will never appear on his record. Him raping 2 girls, basically, is not going to be on his record. Yep. The world's not racist. The world loves you, black man, black woman. Peace and love to the ancient ones.